Hello, this is Blair Stanislao with the Happy Lion Center. Welcome to our podcast, Mystical and Infamous, where we have playful and easy conversations about anything mystical, getting to the heart of all things strange and weird. Join us in a bit of magical tomfoolery, spreading the alchemy of love and light. And now, we invite you to enjoy the show. Experiencing somebody of a lower vibration coming in and working with you. And if you're of a higher vibration, you said that it feels very draining. It feels icky.
Yes. So when I always tell my clients, I don't care who it is. Like, if you feel like you have outgrown me, don't come back to me. If you feel like you are not receiving a good healing, don't come back to me. Like, if you feel like you have leveled up so much where you've now surpassed me and you're no longer getting it, don't come back. And I'm not going to take offense to it, because if you let somebody work on you that is at a lower vibration than you, they're just giving to you. And it's draining you. You're just taking on their stuff, and you don't need that. And then you're going to be like, well, why? Because I remember working with a girl. It was back when I started doing Reiki. We were trading sessions. And this is the only time I've ever done tradings. And I remember going to my mentor after, and I'm like, why do I feel so crappy after she works on me? And she told me, because she's at a lower vibration than you. So she's giving all the crap to you. So you're clearing her in that process, instead of the other way around that it should be. So the second she's touching you, and because I'm so extremely sensitive, I was absorbing it all. And then knowing that, like, I learned you need to know that you can say no. Even if you're in a class setting, you have the right to say no. And you don't have to physically say it. You can't work on me. If you don't want to like cause any issues and you're just like, you know what, it is what it is. Vibrationally, you put a no, and you will not receive it. And that is the best way that you can protect yourself. And I always say that even if I'm holding an event, you can say no to receiving this. You can say yes to receiving this, because it's not good, but they can interfere with your energies so much. Like, I was going to somebody and I couldn't figure out why nothing was. And I eventually just, spirit came to me and they were like, look, stop going. We will bring you somebody new, but you need to stop going, because I was going very religiously and it didn't seem to matter. Nothing was flowing. And I kept asking, like, why is nothing happening for me? The second I stopped and I actually listened to spirit when they told me to stop going, all of a sudden, opportunity after opportunity started showing up, because even though I knew there was a lot going on in this person's life, I didn't take into the fact that they're at a lower vibration than me. And every time they worked on me, didn't matter what kind of energy work it was, I was absorbing their stuff and I'm not getting the help that I need. So then it's slowing me down from actually creating my life. And then they can actually just like hook in unknowingly and feed off your energy. And so it creates an energetic disaster that you then have to sit there and clean up from, and it drains you and you just feel crappy. So you have to understand, you can say no.
Yeah. So even in that, as I was telling him, like the other recording, it just felt icky. Like, it's like it was like, this is an example of, I just feel completely compelled to get up and leave no matter what is going on, where I am. So I did that. I just got up. I listened to the recording, because it wasn't a recording. I was live, right? I listened to the experience with this clearing session, and I kind of participated. It sounded like I heard it in the background, but I was doing other stuff, and then I didn't feel guilty about it, because I just was like, I don't care. I don't like that, right? And then as everybody starts asking questions, it's very similar to the other spiritual work, where like basically the answer is you need to do whatever you feel like you should do. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to sit there and go through the whole experience like you're talking about receiving it, right? If you feel compelled to get up and move, then get up and move. There's nothing wrong with it. So then I was like, okay, well, that's what she said, and I did it anyway, so I'm just going to keep doing it. And it wasn't a problem after that. But what I noticed was I had another friend who was in that same group at the same time. And she works pretty hard on, like, she's gone through this emotion code training, and she's very, very good at that. And she was testing all the time, asking these questions. And it was like, she was saying, I was taking on everybody's emotions and my neck was killing me. And, blah, 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 blah. And she's so dramatic. And I was like, what? And then she asked again another time and she gets all into the story. And I'm like, no, I just pretty much go in and say, okay, it's going to be an experience, whatever it is. I don't really care. Like it's meaning I don't have an expectation of it to be yin or yang. And it wasn't unbearable for me. Like the whole experience was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. So I guess that's an example of, like you're saying, you just decide, you just like, I don't like that. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at first, it's like you had to come to the point where you can, in your energy, say no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's, I think people don't realize they have that. Like, that's where boundaries really do come in. It's because they're not aware. I don't want to go to somebody that doesn't work on themselves and just thinks that they're the all knowing and they are the bestest because they now have this or that title. I don't care what title you have. If
Mhm.
you're not working on yourself, you are of no use to me because I don't want you touching my energy. I'm so picky on who touches my energy.
Well, I find it really funny because I think this is probably similar to what people feel when they think about hypocrisy and religion. But this spiritual world, you do have people who are very, well, I'm not picking anybody out in particular, so I'm just going to say it. They're very egotistical and they're very proud of which is, there's nothing anything really wrong with being proud, but like there's a degree to which where it's like, are you boasting? Are you like trying to rub it in your face? I had one person I know personally who I don't know why. I really like her. She does an excellent job, but there are things about her that I just can't put my finger on. Them. Like I just don't want to be around her. And I saw her at an event one time. I hadn't seen her in a long time. And I said, "Oh, how you been?" or whatever. And she told me all this drama stuff that happened, which was good because she obviously had shifted energy. But then in the next breath, it was like, I'm running a six-figure business, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wow, that's nice. Now we know that's what's important. Like, you know, is that something that's important to share? I guess is my comment on that.
It really depends, honestly. Like I look at my one of my teachers that I had to actually just delete her off of Facebook. Like I unfollowed her every on all social media because it was like it became only about the money.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, I'm this amazing. I've been on these podcasts, these channels, all this stuff. So I'm this amazing. So you like and you have it's like it's like so like her prices are outrageously insane. And that's amazing if that's what people will pay that and that's what you receive. But when the business becomes only about that, you've lost focus on what you're here to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I'm one where it's like, yes, I love money. I absolutely love money. And I love having all this, but it's like I also have to humble myself. And I think that's one thing I've actually been told by a client of mine is like she said, like, you are growing, you have come so far, but you stay humble. Yeah, because I'm here to do a job. I'm here to help people. I still have a calling, and that's the money is this byproduct
Mm-hmm.
of. And I find like the people that I'm drawn to, like the most humble people that have money, are the ones that are very humble and just are there to help. And those are the ones I attract now instead of, oh, well, it's only about the money and look how much I make a year because, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a millionaire now and I'm this now because, oh, I'm so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an egotisticalness to it that
Yeah.
I don't agree with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult. I think that could be said of honestly of any field. And I don't
Yeah.
think people like that generally speaking. But yeah. So I know we didn't touch on everything. There's so much to talk about with you, but I just want to give you an opportunity to maybe talk about your academy. Are you ready to do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're launching it. It starts August 31st.
Awesome. Okay.
So early signups are welcome. But my academy, I broke down channeling because like I learned channeling in such like a very structured way. And that was where I ran into issues for years. It was like, oh, but this is how my teacher showed me to do it. And I can't like show people that's how I'm doing it. Otherwise I'm taking her work.
Mm.
And that was a program I had. And I was like, you know what, when Goddess Isis brought me this, she said to me, here's how you're going to do it. Here's the layout. And we expanded it in such a way where it was like, even like when we talked about in that class, like the light language, like there's so many different ways of doing it. It's not just about the speaking.
Mhm.
Right. And then, but that goes for all kinds, like even automatic writing. So I broke it down where it's like they're getting the support that I never got.
Mhm.
And then we go into each month is like a different kind of channeling where you're going to focus. Plus, channeling the Akashic Records is different than being an Akashic Records reader
Mhm.
because just there's no barrier. So you just go in, you do, it's fun. And same with mediumship, you learn how to do that, see if that's your cup of tea. So we dive into quite a bit. Like we go into trance channeling, indirect channeling, light language, automatic writing, Akashic Records, and mediumship. And then there's also like the strong foundation of, okay, here's how you raise your vibration. Here's the steps to actually channel properly.
Mhm. With the protection, which we were talking about before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
And
just kind of like all the practice. The protection that we were touching on before and the other experiences I've had with people showing me how to do the protection reminds me very much of and just because this is my life. I played volleyball in high school and college. And it wasn't until I was in college that our team had lost several games. And there was one particular game, it was just this weird vibe. Like it was, maybe it was going worse than normal, right?
yeah.
Um, but we go back into, I think the coach probably had like berated us, or that's what I felt like. Like you're berating us, you're talking trash to us, like, I don't know if she was trying to make us feel bad, whatever the case may be. She was talking negatively to us. And we, as a team, went back into the locker room to change clothes after the game. And the words that I heard come out of my teammates' mouths, I was like really surprised because a couple of them were really just like trashing themselves. And I felt bad because these are people I love. Like I'm still connected with them 20 years later, right? Like I definitely love them. So I'm listening to my friends talk about themselves so negatively because of the situation that had just happened. And I thought, why are you doing that? Like, do you really think that? Like it was something about it. They didn't try hard enough or something like that, right? And I was like, what? I couldn't register it. But then I realized, well, I don't feel that way. And because they were just, I mean, the whole energy was just ugh.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, why don't I feel that way? Well, it's because when I go in, I did it at practice, I did it at games, didn't matter when it was. If I was playing volleyball, I was doing my best. Now,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that I didn't mess up, and it doesn't mean that I didn't talk to myself negatively, but it meant that I understood that I'm just trying my best. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, and oh well.
Yeah.
Um, and of course I had to evolve to that, right? But I was really surprised at that. And that's kind of what it reminds me of in the sense that the protection is you just kind of come at it from a positive standpoint. Like, I'm going to do my best at this. I'm going to come at this from love instead of any other programming that really gets on that negative lineage or whatever you want to call it, the downward trend,
Mhm.
you know.
Spiraling downward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the only connection I've ever really been able to feel that actually makes sense. I actually had a dream. So we did this channeling. We're doing channeling practice. He's there. He's helping us. He's kind of watching our connection or whatever. And
Mhm.
his wife does amazing energy work, and she was sending everybody a lot of really good energy and protection and so forth. And then she withdrew that. I don't think he told us when she did that. And then what we noticed in our on our chats together about other things was that we were there were a couple of us who were having these dreams which turned up to be infiltration dreams. Okay. And we've talked to him about it. He's clarified what it is, but I guess my question is, um, would you say that like infiltration dreams or allowing those negative energies to come in are it's basically a result of kind of in a way being lazy about that protective practice? What is it then?
I've to me, I cringe. I'm cringing because you're having somebody else sending you energy.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, like I feel bad saying this, but it's just the whole thing. It's making me cringe. Like you explaining this whole thing. Like I don't know who you're working with, but it's making me cringe. And it's not because, oh, come do my, no, it's because why do they need to send you energy to begin with to be able to do it? Why are you not capable of doing it on your own as you are? Why can you not raise your own energy so that you can go outside of the program to do it?
So here's my thought on that, because I've had lots and lots of thoughts on that because I had difficulty understanding this negative, which we talked a lot about. Okay. My thought is everybody is here and they have their own story. They grew up in wherever they grew up. Everybody has their own issues. So they're all on whatever level. And if this person is teaching to a group, everybody is in different areas, like they're different levels, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking about like, I mean, Christianity is the biggest religion worldwide, right? So you could say, even like if you can use words like you were talking about before, people who think they're open, but maybe they're not quite as open, they get angels or entities that are more recognizable where they can go look them up and it's something that they're familiar with, so they feel more comfortable with it. That's
Yeah.
sort of what I got from this was the presentation of needing to do all this protection in a specific way. I would have to show it to you. I'd love to see what your actual, I'm really dying to hear what your actual input is. But he had this piece of paper that went through this whole process, which you said you have something similar, right? But for me, it was like I could underline words that were like, okay, here's your fear. Okay, here's your programming. Here's, like, and it's not necessarily, I don't see it as like a negative thing. It's just
I do.
what as presented. Does that make sense?
They're presenting it in such a negative way. Channeling, you bring yourself up. You need to bring yourself up to be at that vibration. You do not need somebody else interfering in your energy. Like I said, I don't let anybody touch me. So if you're having dreams, their energy is connected into you and you need to cut that cord right now. Done, gone. And I show how to do that in my academy too, because that's important. Knowing the foundation, but the focus of here's all the protection you got to do. That tells me that they are low vibrational and they have not gotten to that point where they can confidently say, I'm in a place where I don't actually have to deal with that. I can deal with it. I know I can humbly check my energy. Sometimes it happens. Do I have an entity attachment? Okay, I got one. I picked one up somewhere. All right. Maybe I was low. That's fine. Let's get this off. Sorry. Let's get this off and done. Like it's annoying that's the focus of, oh, all the protection. Where's the raising your vibration so that when you protect yourself, I always do the pillar of light. That's like my main, it's one of the things. And it's such a common thing. I've seen it in cards. I've seen it done so many ways. Every mentor I've had, they've done it a different way, but they all have done it. You're doing the pillar of light. Okay. You're shielding yourself. If you're not quite comfortable enough with that, throw up a violet flame shield around you. Show how to do that. Done. Confidence in that. That is your protection. Now your focus is you need to raise your vibration up so that you can, like I said before, you can meet those beings at a higher vibrational level. But that's why you're bringing down that divine energy into your body, bringing up Mother Earth's energy into your body. You're doing that pillar so that you're at a strong level. If the whole focus is just about protecting yourself, and then you need to have somebody else interfere into that, no. I wouldn't take
that. That reminds me of like a teacher, because my mother was a teacher and I was a teacher. So I always associate like this. But it reminds me of a teacher seeing a behavior that is a problem. So let's say that's a negative entity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher maybe deals with it, but they deal with it in a way that doesn't cause attention to be drawn to that.
Mm-hmm.
So by withdrawing the energy, which is the same practice that we're all familiar with, if you don't want something to occur, you don't cause it to not occur by focusing on not occurring, which is the idea behind the protection word, right? You cause it to not occur by withdrawing your energy from it and putting your energy more on something else, essentially causing a distraction for the energy that was going to that.
I guess in a sense it could be a distraction, but no, you're just having a strong boundary. You're saying, no, I don't agree with that. I don't allow that. That's not welcome in my energy. No, thank you. Here's what I do. I had one of my mentors, she said to me, or she taught it in one of the classes that I watched. It was like, everything you put in or everything you take out, you need to put in. And that is something I've religiously followed. And she didn't say exactly like that. She was talking about like, I don't like spiders. And I don't like it when spiders. So instead of that focus, it was a manifestation thing. And she said, okay, so now you're going to take that belief of I don't like spiders. Here's what I do. I love ladybugs. They are good luck. Or I love this, or I love a clean home that is bug free. And it's just, so then you've put in this good energy to replace that negative energy that you've taken out. And it's the same thing that goes for everything. You've taken out, okay, no, I do not want them interfering in my energy like this. This is not welcome. Here's what is welcome. I love high vibrational people. I love people with good intentions that are at a higher vibration than I am, or at least on the same level as me.
Yeah.
So that there's not a suck, there's not a drain.
Yeah.
Send inquiries, suggestions for new discussion topics, and comments to podcast@happylioncenter.com. That's podcast@happylioncenter.com. If you found this content enjoyable or helpful, please comment, like, share, and download. Donations are appreciated and help us to produce more of similar content. Consider making a contribution at the links in the description box. Your support is greatly appreciated. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Happy Lion Center and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. None of the content provided should be considered a substitute for legal, financial, medical, psychiatric advice or as care from a certified professional.